Peter stood in the middle of his living room, smiling with pride as he lifted the wedding gown carefully out of its packaging. The fabric shimmered under the soft light. It was beautiful, no doubt about that. Omolade stepped closer, her eyes widened as she touched the material gently. "It is pretty, Peter," she said softly, meaning every word. Peter's smile grew wider. "I knew you would love it, my darling." But as she held it against her body, her smile slowly faded. Her brows drew together in confusion. "Wait, Peter," she said, turning the dress slightly. "This looks like it is really big." Peter shrugged casually. "It's your wedding dress and it's supposed to fit you perfectly. But this is not my size," she replied, her voice now tightening. "This looks like
Wait,
something that
Peter,
is about
this
size
looks
18, and
big,
you know
like
I am
really
just
big.
size 10. There was a brief silence. Peter didn't look surprised. Instead, he folded his arms and leaned back slightly, as if he had been expecting the question. "Yes," he said calmly, "this is size 18. Omolade blinked, unsure if she heard him correctly. "Why would you buy a size 18 for me? You know I am size 10." Peter walked closer, placing his hand on her shoulders. His tone softened, almost like he was explaining something simple. "Because that is the size I want you to be on our wedding day." Those words landed heavily. Omolade pulled back slightly, searching his face. "What do you mean?" "I mean," he said, still calm, "you need to gain weight, enough to fit into that dress." Her heart skipped. "Gain weight? Peter, how much weight are we even talking about here? I am size 10, this is size 18. He hesitated for a second, then he said it plainly. "Gain around 70 kilos." Omolade let out a small laugh, shocked laugh, thinking he was joking, but his face didn't change. "Wait, you are serious?" she asked. "I have never been more serious in my life," he replied. Her mind began to race. This was coming out of nowhere. Peter had never complained about her body before, not even once. But then she started remembering things. The way he stared at plus size women when they went out, at the gym, at the mall, even online. He would always send her videos of curvy women, laughing it off like it meant nothing. She had ignored all of this. She had trusted him. Now it all felt different. "Peter, why?" she asked quietly. He smiled again, but this time it felt strange. "Because that is what I like, and I want my wife to be exactly what I like." The room suddenly felt smaller. Later that afternoon, Omolade walked into her own apartment slowly, her thoughts heavy. The moment she opened the door, excitement rushed towards her. "Lade!" Mitchell shouted, jumping up from the couch. "How did it go? How was it? Did he show you the dress? Was it beautiful?" But the excitement quickly faded when she saw Omolade's face. "Hey, what's wrong?" Mitchell asked, stepping closer. Omolade dropped her bag and sat down quietly. For a moment she said nothing. Then she looked up. "Peter wants me to gain weight," she said. Mitchell frowned. "What do you mean?" "He bought a wedding dress that is size 18. There was a pause. Mitchell blinked. "Wait, what?" "He said I have to gain weight before the wedding. Like a lot of weight." Mitchell stared at her, trying to process it. Then she let out a small confused laugh. "I thought men like slim girls," she said. Omolade gave a weak smile. "That's what I thought too." "So, what are you going to do?" Mitchell asked carefully. Omolade looked down at her hands. "I love him, Mitchell. I really do. If this is what he wants, maybe I should just do it." Mitchell shook her head immediately. "No, Lade, that doesn't sound right. Gaining weight, that kind of weight in short time, it is not healthy." Before Molade could respond, her phone rang. It was Peter. She stood up quickly. "Let me take this," she said, walking into her bedroom. Mitchell watched her go, worry written all over her face. From that moment, things began to change. Peter started picking Omolade up almost every day. At first, she thought it was romantic. He would take her to fancy restaurants, smiling, opening doors for her. But it didn't take long before she noticed a pattern. He would order large amounts of food, more than two people could ever eat, plate upon plate, rice, pasta, fried food, desserts. "Eat," he would say, watching her closely. Omolade tried her best. She would eat until her stomach hurt, until she felt like she could not breathe. I am full, she whispered.
I'm full.
Peter's
So
expression
you don't want to
changed
make me
immediately.
happy?
So you don't want to make me happy?
That's
He
not what I
asked. That's
said.
not what I
Then
said.
eat.
Then eat the food. Slowly, Omolade picked the food up and started eating. By the time they left the restaurant, she could barely walk. Peter would
Good
hold her hands,
girl.
guiding her to the car, smiling proudly. Good girl. Back at the house, it didn't stop. One morning at exactly 8 a.m., Peter woke her up with breakfast in bed.
Good morning,
Omalade
my love.
smiled weakly as she sat up, expecting something light, something delicious and fancy. But when she lifted the tray cover, her smile disappeared. Fufu and egusi soup, she said, staring at it. Peter's smile remained. Yes, darling, your favorite. Peter, who eats this as breakfast in bed? She asked, slightly annoyed. His face darkened. I woke up early to prepare this food for you, he said. This is how you react? I didn't mean it. And maybe you don't appreciate me, he cut in. The guilt hit her immediately. I am sorry, she said softly. Then eat the food if you know you are sorry. And then she did. She ate the fufu and egusi soup. By 11 a.m. that same morning, more food came in. Pizza, chocolate, burgers, cake. Every no she tried to say was met with pressure, guilt and silence that made her uncomfortable. Weeks passed like that. 1 month later, Omolade stood in front of the mirror. She barely recognized herself. Her body had changed so much, at least 20 kilo added. She touched her face slowly, her eyes filling with confusion. Is this really what I want? She whispered to herself. Then her phone beeped. It was a text message from Peter. She opened the text message and it read, I love you so much, my darling. I cannot wait for our big day. Please make me happy and I will forever be yours. She stared at the message for a long moment. Then
He
she
loves
sighed
me.
to
I have to
herself.
do this.
He loved me. He loves me, she whispered. I have to do this for him, to make him happy. Across the town, Peter sat inside his car staring at his phone. A slow smile spread across his face. She thinks I will back down? No, he muttered quietly. His grip tightened slightly on the steering wheel. Never. He leaned back, eyes dark with determination. She must get to that size 18 before this wedding holds. One morning, Omolade's phone rang just as she was trying to get out of bed. Her body felt heavier than usual, and even sitting up took effort. She reached for her phone and smiled faintly when she saw the caller. Mommy, she said, picking up. My daughter. Her mother's cheerful voice came through. How are you, darling? And how is the wedding preparation going over there? Omolade forced a lively tone. Everything is going well, ma. We have started planning. Peter even got my wedding dress already. Wow, that's good, her mother replied. Tell me, what style are you considering? What of your ashrebi? Have you spoken to the tailor? They spoke at length. Omolade described colors, fabric, decorations, everything she had in mind. For a moment, it felt normal again, like the wedding excitement she had always dreamed of. Then her mother said, it will be better you come home. Let's sit down and plan everything properly, face to face. Omolade hesitated briefly, then nodded. Okay, ma, I will come tomorrow. I will come with Mitchell. The next day, she met Mitchell in the living room. Mitchell, please come with me to my mom's house, she said. Mitchell looked at her for a moment, then nodded. Okay, let's go. Inside the public bus, the ride was quiet at first. The usual Lagos noise filled the air. Horns chattered, conductor shouting destinations. Then Mitchell turned and looked at her closely. I just hope your mom will recognize you, she said half jokingly. You have added so much weight. Omlade laughed, brushing it off. Please leave me. I think I'm even looking like those Instagram baddies now, curves, full chest and all. They both laughed, but Mitchell's laughter faded quickly. When they finally arrived at her mother's house, Omolade felt a strange tension in her chest. She pushed it aside and knocked. The door opened and her mother froze. Jesus! She shouted, stepping back. Omolade, what happened to you? What is going on? Omolade blinked, startled. Mommy, what's wrong? Why are you shouting like this? You are scaring me. Look at yourself, she said. Who is this? Are you sure this is you? Mitchell stepped forward. Ma, this is what I've been trying to. Nothing is going on, mommy. Omolade cut in quickly. Mitchell went quiet immediately. Omalade forced a smile. I just want to look better on my wedding day, mom. You know, I have always been slim. I want my clothes to fit well. I want to look like a big woman on that day. She glanced at Mitchell sharply. Mitchell understood quickly and added, yes, ma'am. You know she has to look good for our wedding. Her mother shook her head slowly, worrying, feeling her eyes. Please, she said softly, holding Omolade's hands. Don't go beyond this weight. This is already too much. It is not healthy. Omolade nodded lightly. Okay, mom. They continued their discussion, but the excitement from earlier had faded. When they left, the silence between Omolade and Mitchell was heavy. Back at their apartment, Mitchell dropped her bag on the couch and turned immediately. Omolade, she said firmly, I don't want to support this anymore. These things you are doing, it will come back to hurt you. Omolade kept walking towards her room. No man who loves his woman will tell her to gain unhealthy weight, Mitchell continued. This is not right. You need to talk to Peter or let me talk to him. Omolade turned sharply. No, he loves me, she said, her voice rising slightly. He calls me every day. He texts me. He reassures me. I know he won't hurt me. This is just what he wants, and I want to make him happy. This is already hurting you. Mitchell fired back. Open your eyes and see what is happening. That is enough. Omolade snapped. If you're trying to come between myself and Peter, I won't like it. Please don't ever talk about my weight again. The room fell silent. Without another word, they both went their separate rooms. That weekend, a few of Omolade's friends came over. The house was lively again, filled with laughter and gossip, but it didn't last long. One of them, Sarah, looked at her closely. Lade, what's going on? She asked. You've added so much weight. I saw you just last month and this is too much. The room became quiet. I am not trying to body shame you, Sarah added quickly, but this is serious. Omolade smiled, pretending to be confident. I love my new look, and my friends love it too. That seems to end the conversation, but the concern remained in the room. Later that night, after everyone left, another conversation started in the group chat without Omolade. In a separate group chat she wasn't part of, the girls discussed what they had seen. What is happening to her? One of them asked. Mitchell finally spoke. It is Peter. He wants her to gain weight for their wedding. What? Another replied. That sounds like an abuse. Or maybe that's just his preference. Another of the friends added. Either way, it is not normal. Another said. We need to talk to her. Mitchell sighed. She will not listen. I have tried, but she's not listening to me. The chat slowly went quiet, but the concern did not fade. The next day, Omolade was back at Peter's place. Get ready, darling, he said cheerfully. We are going out. At the restaurant, he watched her closely as she ate. You are doing well, he said with a smile. You have added some weight. You need more. Just then, a curvy woman walked past them. Peter's eyes followed her. Look at that, he whispered. That's exactly how I want you to be. Omolade's hand froze mid-air. Peter, that woman is a size 26. He nodded yes. You want me to look like that? She asked, her voice shaking slightly. That is too much. He leaned closer. That's the end goal. For now, let's just focus on size 18. Something inside her tightened, but she said nothing. The routine continued. Food, pressure, silence. Sometimes when she got home, she would rush to the bathroom to vomit. Her body struggled to keep up, but Peter would always be there afterwards, holding her, wiping her face gently. It's okay, he would whisper. You are doing so well. Soon, he introduced something new. At first, she didn't notice. A drink here and there, a snack here and there, but slowly her hunger increased. It became constant, almost uncontrollable. She found herself craving food even when she had just eaten. She didn't know that Peter had started adding something to her meals, like tablets, crushed and hidden. And I know you would wonder, why is Peter doing this to her, right? Please like this video, subscribe to this channel as we continue into the video. In just 2 months, everything about Omolade had changed. What started as a small adjustment had quickly turned into something she could no longer control. She had added over 40 kilos, and her body now felt unfamiliar to her. Her clothes no longer fit. Walking even short distance left her breathless. Standing for too long made her leg aches. On the street, people stared at her. Some didn't even recognize her anymore. "Omolade, is that you?" an old neighbor asked her one afternoon, squinting in confusion. Others were more direct. "My daughter, are you okay? Is it sickness?" an old woman asked with concern. Omolade forced a smile. "No, ma'am, I am fine. Can't I just be plus size?" But deep down, she knew something was wrong. Washing plates in the kitchen became a struggle. Even eating had changed. What used to fill her up no longer did. She now eats 6 packs of noodle and still felt hungry. And through it all, Peter remained her biggest supporter. Or so she thought. He constantly sent her videos of plus size women, telling her this is your goal. Keep going. He promised her gifts, sweet words, and love. But there was something strange. Whenever Molade asked for money for skincare, clothes, or anything related to her personal care, Peter always complained. "I don't have money right now," he would say. Yet, whenever he saw a new food online, he would be the first to spend money on it, but not for himself, for Omolade. When cheesesteak became popular, he ordered it almost every day and sent it to her, boxes upon boxes, and Omolade ate them all, every single one. One day, Mitchell had had enough. She went to Peter's house, determined to speak with him. "Peter, please," she said calmly. "Why are you doing this to my friend? Why do you want her to gain so much weight?" Peter looked at her coldly. "That's none of your business. She's my fiancé and very soon she will become my wife, my property." "It is my business," Mitchell replied. "She is my friend and this is not healthy for her." Peter scoffed. "She likes it. She's happy." "That's not true," Mitchell said firmly. "You are hurting her." Peter's expression hardened. "Leave my house." And just like that, she was sent away. As she walked out, Peter picked up his phone and sent a message to Omolade. "I do not want you to be friends with Mitchell anymore. Cut her off." When Omolade saw the text, she was confused. "What happened?" she asked. But Peter did not explain. "Just do as I have said if you know you love me," he replied. That evening when Mitchell got home, Omolade confronted her. "Did you go to Peter's house?" she asked angrily. Mitchell sighed. "Yes, I was trying to help you." "I did not ask for your help," Omolade snapped. "Stay out of my relationship." Mitchell stood there, hot but silent. Then she quietly walked into her room. The distance between them grew. Soon it was time for the bachelorette party. Omolade had removed Mitchell from the group chat and refused to speak to her. That night, the lounge was filled with music, laughter, and celebration. Omolade's friends surrounded her, dancing and cheering. In another part of the same lounge, Peter and his friends were also celebrating. Meanwhile, at home, Mitchell sat alone, scrolling through Instagram, hoping to see a post from Omolade, but nothing came. She sighed, feeling a deep sense of worry. Back at the party, Omolade suddenly felt uncomfortable. "I will be back," she told her friends, heading to find the restroom. As she walked down the hallway, she heard voices, familiar voices. She slowed down, her heart beating faster. It was Peter and his friend, Tunde. Omolade moved closer quietly. Then she heard something. "I want her to be very fat," Peter was saying, "so that all those guys chasing her will stop." Omolade froze. "By the time she becomes very fat, she will lose her confidence. Then I can do as I like with her." Tunde laughed loudly. "Ha, my guy, you are a bad guy." Peter chuckled. "If I wait until she has children, it won't work. Now she listened to everything I say because she is afraid to lose me. Each word felt like a knife. Tears filled Omolade's eyes. She pushed the door open. Peter and Tunde turned shocked. Peter, she said, her voice trembling, did you mean what you have just said? Peter's face changed. What did you hear? I heard everything, she replied, tears falling freely from her face. So this was never about love? Peter tried to speak, but then his expression hardened. So what will you do about it? He said coldly. You're already fat. No man will want you now. You are stuck with me. That word broke something inside of her. Without another word, Omolade turned and walked away. She did not go back to the party. She went straight home. Her chest rose and fell heavily as she cried, and she tried to even hold back her tears. But when she got home, Mitchell rushed to her. Omolade, what happened? And for the first time in a long time, Omolade told her the truth. Everything. Mitchell listened quietly, then pulled her into a tight hug. Do you see now? She said softly. This is what I have been trying to tell you. Omolade cried. I was so blind, she whispered. It's okay,
Okay.
Mitchell said. You are not alone. After a long silence, Mitchell asked gently, do you still want to go ahead with the wedding? Omolade wiped her tears. Mitchell, I love him, she said. I really do. And she paused. But I have to choose myself. And just like that, she made a decision. The wedding was cancelled. It wasn't easy. The calls, the questions, the disappointment, even Peter didn't see that coming. But she stood her ground. Then came a new journey, a difficult one, the journey to heal, the journey to take back control of her body, her health and her life. Day by day, step by step, Omolade began again. And this time she wasn't doing it for anyone else. She was doing it for herself. Never lose yourself trying to please someone who does not truly love you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video with your friends. Also comment if you love this video.